Go ahead, take it down. Don't make any bad noises.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And then I will email it to me when you hit finish. So
I'll do my best.
might be easy. All right.
Everybody ready? All right. We're going to kick off the, what is today? March 20th. Oh, no.
Oh, nope, that's the wrong date. That's the first thing we need to fix.
Woo.
April 26th.
April 26th meeting. We're a little late, 7:36 due to a village council meeting. Can we get a roll call?
Present.
Steve Snyder.
Holly Miller.
Melissa Schrader. Trisha Feldman here.
Andy Rose. You don't really count. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Oh, I do. Yes. Sam Moore from LDC is here. We are going to put him at the top of communication so he can go out. And then I have a facade grant that just came in that I put under communications because it's not ready. I have to meet with them and get some more information, but I wanted you guys to kind of have it so that we could look over it. And I'm adding flag brackets under finance because we need new brackets for the new poles. That is it, I believe. I have the bracket info in here, but I didn't have it on the agenda because I did not find them until yesterday evening.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's it then, correct? All right, let's go to communications.
Mr. Sam?
How you doing, sir?
Good to see you.
Not sure. I think I've met everyone here, but there looks like there's new faces here, so I'm not 100% sure.
Krista yet?
I'm not.
That's Krista Booz. All right. Melissa Snyder. No. Trish, have you met Trish?
I don't think so.
She has a
No.
business in town.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Sam. I'm the Lapeer Development Corporation Executive Director. I know LDC and the DDA here's relationship has kind of evolved over the last year or so. Angela reached out, wanted me to come in and just basically talk with you guys about what we do, and then answer any questions that you might have. Almont with the DDA is a little bit different than some of the other communities that we work with because you do have obviously your core downtown as well as your industrial park within your footprint. So we do try to complement the efforts in the downtown, but we historically have worked pretty more hands-on or more in depth with like the industrial park portion of the village, and that's kind of where I've focused a lot of my efforts. But I think that's evolving as things sort of change just with board makeup and priorities and leadership. So. So basically the LDC, we act as a conduit for some of the other organizations that the village is affiliated with or works with. Like the village council meeting that was a little bit earlier today. Chris, that was here for the public comment. I've had several conversations with him as they do their due diligence when they're evaluating projects and they're asking about industrial park and downtown and what's changing, what's happening. So that's one thing that we do offer is basically just that third party representative advocating on behalf of what you guys do. One of the other things was actually new information that I gathered just today, this morning that I do need to reach out to Angela to talk about it. Some of the new grant incentives through MEDC with the RAP 2.0 program. They changed it. It's a little bit different. And we're looking at potentially gauging interest in applying on a regional level rather than each community going out and asking for some funding. So that's something we may be facilitating in the near future as well. I guess, do you have any questions for me of what we do or how we advocate on behalf of the DDA? Is there any specific questions you might have that like?
You probably, there's been discussion before about this with the changes that have evolved over the last year or so. The benefit that the DEC and us retaining DEC and your services, what the benefits would be. And I think those of us who've been on this board for a while know that your organization has had played a major role in structuring our budget reports and all of the finance aspects. So if that is now, so that aspect essentially has now been taken over by the village. So the benefit of staying with DEC, is what?
Yeah, and it's exactly that. Like, obviously, I'm going to advocate. So yes, I want you to pay your full allocation that you've paid historically. Like, why wouldn't I? Honestly, yes, it's different. The relationship has evolved. It's different. But the reason that I wanted to come today was basically to say, well, what else can we do? Because obviously that relationship has evolved. So is there another gap somewhere that we could assist in filling? Obviously, I'm trying to maintain my funding levels, so I mean, I'm going to be transparent on that. But also, it's got to be a benefit to you. If you don't have that direct benefit, then it's pointless. It's your taxpayers' money that you're spending. So if we don't provide that benefit, then we don't provide it. So yes, we want to be that resource, and changing or evolving what our relationship is. We're 100% on board with doing that to best complement what your efforts are. So.
Faint recollection that staying with your organization provides some benefit for MDEC, for the state organization?
Yes and no. It's basically where every time we meet at the county level and the regional level, we interact with the state a lot more, way more frequent than you do at the local level. So basically, I hate to say it, but we're there to remind them when we're having conversations of, oh, hey, by the way, this project's going on in downtown Almont, or this is going on there. It's something that will eventually trickle its way to the state anyway, because you have great resources. You're building a phenomenal team here, so that's happening anyway. But we're basically here to complement that.
I think if you could speak to the offerings you have for business owners, I think we've touched on that before, but I think how you could help with that between what's going on in the industrial park. We just had another business owner reaching out, looking for some funds to help some improvements on their building. I think if those watching could hear some of that to see what kind of options that are out there.
So yeah, we have a couple of different programs or different offerings. So like, for instance, with like the industrial park, we do work hand in hand with the industries there, as well as the developers when they ask for incentives. We basically assist them with information gathering for like requests for tax increment finance or IFTs, tax abatements, things along those lines. When it comes to like downtown businesses, or I guess even in general, the industrial park, we do have revolving loan funds that we offer at a county and a regional level, different pools of money. And basically that is funding that's set aside specifically for like job creation, job growth, business expansion. And we try to fit the gap for where maybe the conventional lending institutions may not necessarily step up, for some of the smaller entrepreneurial businesses where they may just not have the background or the history in their books for equipment purchases, things like that. That's where we like to step in and assist with that. And honestly, I don't think we've done a ton in Almont, and I think that needs to change. And you guys have been very willing to post some of our information, and we have getting that out there, so that has helped. That's gotten a few phone calls. I would like to try to expand upon that in the downtown. We've had really good program growth on that with working with the DDA in the city of Lapeer. The last couple of loans that we've done there have been basically hand fed from us from the DDA saying, hey, you need to go talk to this business. And it's worked out really, really well. So.
How about the scope of the overall design of the DDA? I know you and I have had conversations about if we ever change the boundaries of our map or that. Not getting into too many details, but that would be something you would help guide us with and be involved with, or how does that?
Absolutely. We basically would be there to hold your hand through the process, and basically help gauge the pros and cons of doing that, and what would be the benefit, what would be the drawback, and actually maybe even pointing you to other options as well that might directly benefit the DDA, but may not necessarily be an add-on to the DDA, things along those lines. But yeah, that's basically, personally, I like that stuff. Like that really, I just love the creation of those things, expansion, changes, alterations. It's fun, and it's can be very daunting because it's just not something that communities do every day. You do it once in a generation. So it can be difficult just to fact gather and a lot of that stuff.
25 feet. I mean, it's a big,
Oh, it
difficult
is.
project.
It is.
Call it fun. Maybe if you like pole vaulting at 25 feet, but yeah, it's a major endeavor, and some prior member of this board at one point or had something to do with it. Started hooting and hollering when you brought that issue up, but obviously something could be looked at, and it would enhance this board and the village if there was feasible. But you have a lot of hurdles to go over.
True, but
State law. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
But at least that's again just one of the benefits. If we ever go down that path, I'm not saying we are, but if we do, that's what they're there for.
Mhm.
And he was instrumental in clarifying the fact that we wouldn't change our existing, we would be able to add on to that. And that was huge, right? So, but just so the board can hear as we're doing future planning and coming up with ideas, that's where they really are instrumental in helping a lot of that out. Okay.
Sam, what is your last name? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Questions or comments or thoughts?
So in the past, when we were retaining your services, the annual fee was $4,000. So the question would be, what would it be now if we decided we still wanted to have that affiliation?
I'm gonna default $4,000, right? It really depends on what you're looking for. What is that relationship that the DDA is looking for in the long term? Do you want a more in depth, or you want just a, I don't know, the Cliff Notes version of it? It just really depends on what we want that to be. I'll be honest. I think the 4,000 rate was probably for the last 10, 15 years. Yeah. So, it didn't go up with cost of living. It didn't increase at all. So, yeah, it really depends on what you guys are willing to do, what you would like to do, and what you're looking for in the long term. I mean, I would love to keep it the same, but obviously that delivery of service is different. That's where I'd like to add it somewhere else to compensate for that. Or if that's something that we don't feel is necessary, then we can obviously regroup and look at something different.
But don't forget, we were also paying for the bills part. That was an extra charge on top of where we paying another $500 a month for that. So I think
Something like that.
Yeah. So we were paying the $4 anyway for the other services. I can tell you, Sam and his team were very instrumental in navigating the waters with what we went to, along with our attorney. So it did keep everything the way it should have went. So they were huge to that point. So. And maybe you could speak to, I know I attended, actually us three attended one of the seminars, but maybe you could speak to some of the other benefits of what they bring.
Sam is always an email or phone call away if I have any questions for anything. And Laura has been instrumental in getting everything, on track and transferred over to the village. I don't know where we would be without their support and services, to be honest. So, also he has a lot of connections that I think will be, no offense, they'll
Well,
be very useful.
It's all you know, right?
You know, and that was when we were at the meeting, there was like, you got LDC was there and MEDC was there. And what other acronym was there?
Main Street was there.
Street Street.
MDA. I think that was all of them.
So the crazy part is they all play in the same sandbox, right? But some have better resources for different things than other. All have a good scope of what's going on, but again, the loans and the options through there that we could use him. So it's amazing. It's like we could use all of them, or we could use one of them, or use none of them. But I think together they make a good team of people. And again, we're looking to do the mainstream thing, you know, so that just piggybacks on what's going on with them.
I think that the fact that, except for this old guy sitting here, everybody's basically a new member. And so having that support and whatever connections we can possibly have appear to overall to be a benefit, I would think. I mean, obviously, we all have to develop experience and how to do all of this. So, yeah, I guess I would be supportive. And after having discussed this, that we maintain the relationship with LDEC. Makes sense.
Also say that like Main Street and Michigan Downtowns, they're focused on the whole state, where LDC is focused, you know, specific on our county. And I think that that is invaluable. I mean, to only be focused and advocating for Lapeer County is what we need.
Yeah, when's the contract due? I mean, it's not like we're voting on it.
I honestly don't even know.
Yeah.
Didn't really look.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think we're still in the middle of it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not anytime soon, but we're coming into budget season, so if, you know, it's worth talking about.
Well, I appreciate the invite. Thank you for letting me come. And anytime you want me to attend, please reach out. Let me know.
To that point, any board member could reach out to them.
Absolutely.
So it's not like
Absolutely.
it's got to go
Yes.
through anybody. If
Yep.
you have questions
Yep.
or concerns, go to Sam.
And I'm going to be honest, 9 times out of 10, and I think Angela attests to this, is I may not know the answer, but I'm going to point you to who does, or I'm going to facilitate you meeting someone that's going to be able to help you. To me, it's all about networking and using the others in the community that know the answers to the questions. So.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Good seeing
Have
you.
a good night.
All right. So that was the first communication, right?
Yep.
Lawsuit update.
So the next one, I went to our attorney and picked up the bonded money from the lawsuit. So we are done, paid, deposited, and finished with that. So there's a copy of that check in there, in case anyone was curious. Any questions? Anything?
3589.
Yep.
All right. Garbage can update.
I don't have anything in the packet for this, but the trash cans are ordered. The approved cost was $23,162.71. I called a lot and tried to negotiate on the shipping, and they ended up giving us $3,575 off. So they cut the shipping in half, and so the final cost was $19,661.96. So that's a little win, I guess.
It's a big one.
Yeah, so those are, they said probably about 4 weeks until we get them. So we're looking at end of May, beginning of June to have them arrive. So.
They have a ship date of June 30th.
Yeah, that was before they received because they invoiced us, and then the village had to cut a check and mail it. And then when they received the check, they sent me a new email that was a shipping date of, I believe, the end of May. I'll have to double check, but it was, they were scheduled to arrive the last week of May or the first week of June. So it's exciting.
Thank you. Dumpster corral warranty.
So Brian sent me pictures of our dumpster corral from the inside, and it is crumbling. Rebar is showing. It's not in a place anyone could have hit. It's right next to a pole. The door doesn't swing to hit that part. I don't know what happened, but I contacted the company, and he said their warranty is 1 year. Sometimes they do up to 2 years, but this is well past either of those. So I contacted 2 local masonry companies to come out and give us quotes, and they haven't gotten the quotes back to me yet, but I just wanted that to be on the radar.
Okay.
If anyone knows anyone else that they want me to get quotes from, I will.
Could potentially, when they were taking the dumpsters and dumping them, hit? Not where it's
I can
at.
show you the pictures, but no, the way it is, it's right next to the door, but there's a pole there. If anyone would have hit it, they would have hit I think like the pole, it looks like it's just all falling apart. I don't know. But I also don't know enough about masonry to give a not ignorant answer. So as soon as I have more information, hopefully in May, I'll give that to you.
DPW report.
So DPW has just started putting the report that they give the village into our packet as well. That way we kind of know what we're being charged for. Brian said can do more if we want more, but I figured I would bring it this way, and then if people want more information, I can have a more detailed report, but I just give my same director's report to village council to put in their packet, so I didn't think it was a big deal for DPW to just give their council report to us. And obviously, if you have any questions, I can get answers to them.
And then I'm trying to remember, was facade grant a agenda item, or is that?
It was just under communications because it just came in and there is no, I called them. I need to get more information from them. There's no like specifics or quotes or anything in it. But I wanted you guys to be in the loop that this will be coming up hopefully on May's agenda. So this just came in yesterday or Tuesday. And it doesn't, obviously there's a lot missing. So I just need to get the rest of that information before we decide on it, but I wanted you to be aware.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right, public comments on agenda items. All right, then can we get approval of consent agenda? Steve made the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's move forward. All right, so first one on the list is please look over the minutes from March, and we will need a motion on that as well.
To approve.
All right, Steve with the first. We'll just need a second.
Second.
All right, Melissa on the second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's passed. Thank you. All right, let's go to bills payable, please. If you have any questions, let us know.
I first want to say thank you again to Angela for negotiating the freight on the trash cans. That was a huge savings. To have that under 20,000, I think is awesome. I was excited when I saw that invoice. Next up would be the Yard Services Inc. invoice. The late charges, I recommend we don't pay. It says in our contract, payments will be monthly after approval by the DDA board at their regularly scheduled board meeting. We had a meeting February 22nd. A check was cut February 23rd. We had a meeting March 22nd. The check was cut March 28th. So there's that.
And this total has that taken off, correct?
Yes, the total on our agenda has that taken off. And then I do question if we had 8+ inches of snow on March 3rd. Our snow plowing is kind of tiered. 1 to 3 inches should be $1,200, 4 to 8, 15, and 8+ is 2,000. I don't know that we had over 8 inches of snow. So I think we need to follow up on that before the invoice is paid.
Check a weather report? National Weather Service?
Back and look. Do we know what did DPW record anything that day?
I can,
Are you serious? You don't remember the large snow? There was 8 inches of snow.
I wouldn't question it if I did remember it.
March. I don't recall that either, but
So do you want us to table that one for now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we need a motion, the motion will be to table the yard services bill for March.
I'll make a motion to table the yard services March 31st bill. Upon clarification of snow on March 3rd. I can't, okay, just kidding. Someone else has to do it. Sorry.
That's why I was saying somebody else is gonna have to. All right. Krista made the initial. Melissa second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so table the 5940 for next meeting. So the next number is going to be for the bills payable we'll need.
Sure.
Yep, I'm doing it now.
Understanding that there will be some investigation or checking as to what the actual snowfall was that day.
Right.
Okay.
So that'd be 186.65 would be the new total.
sorry, what was that number again?
23,186.65 would be the new total.
I'll motion to approve the bills payable in the amount of $23,186.65.
All right. We'll check into it. Thank you.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
You know, I will say that I've never received a check since January on time. The first time in 25 years that I worked with the company.
Well, according to our contract, on time is after our meeting. And your invoices have no due date on them either.
Well, it's not 31 days after you receive them, I can tell you that.
Well, per our contract, it is after the meeting of which they're reviewed and discussed and approved.
And then you're questioning, it is the end of April, and you're questioning March 4th snowfall of 8 inches. The biggest snowfall that Almont had all year long.
Board's already made the motion. Actually, we bet both. Any further discussion from a board member? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. All right, moving on to treasurer's report. You're still up, ma'am.
So, hold on, let me get to it.
It's a little different this month because this is the
Exactly
first
what I was
month
gonna
that,
say.
yeah.
Yep, so this is the first month of using the village. So if anyone has any questions, please ask. But it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple in my opinion.
So my question would be, how do you feel the process is going?
Wonderfully.
Okay.
Really well.
All right. If anybody has questions, if not, I'll need a motion to accept the check disbursement report.
Also, sorry, real quick, on the check disbursement, so the due to's February 2023, that every following month, that will match our check register, but because we weren't, that was when we switched over, it doesn't,
So that's the village
yeah,
taking the money.
the village didn't have that.
Right.
We weren't writing checks out of the village account in February.
So it's taking it out of our account and putting it back in the pooled fund, which is where they write our checks from.
Yes. So this month, it's gonna be a little bit more confusing, but next month, everything will have come out of the village accounts, so it will be a little more streamlined.
I'll make a motion to accept the March check disbursement.
Yep. All right, can I
Okay.
get a second? Steve supports. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. March account balance report. Again, these all new reports from the village, so.
Honestly, Kim said if whatever we like, she can keep providing. If the whole board doesn't want to see all of this and just Holly, we can do that too. She just gave us all of the reports that she runs to put in for now, and then we can decide what we think is pertinent for everyone to
How
see.
it's set up, how detailed it is.
Yeah,
I'd rather have more details than less, my 2 cents.
absolutely.
My question on investments in securities, I'm assuming those are just FDIC spread out accounts.
Yeah, that's
That's in their sweeper. They just call it a security. Interesting. All right, so we'll need a motion for the March account balance report.
Motion to approve the March account balance report.
Second,
Support.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. March profit and loss report.
Sorry, now it's called the revenue and expenditure report, so that I will change that next month.
Thank you. Just a quick question on salaries, full-time, part-time, overtime. I'm assuming that is going towards DPW, not you, or are you grouped in with all of that?
I should not be grouped in with all of that.
And I believe
I have
that
my
is-
own.
That's year-to-date numbers. Okay, just, okay, because they both match. So there's not a rolling, like a total, I would see total would be year-to-date, but then,
Well, it's because I believe it's because this is year to date with them. So they consolidate, it's going to be confusing this month.
okay,
Because it's all of the information from January to now, but it's not, it looks like it's just all hitting this month since we switched everything over. This is why it probably would have been easier if we switched at the end of the fiscal year, just so we had a.
I guess just my question is that all you, or is that you and whatever we did with DPW would be my only question.
I can grab our chart of accounts with the numbers.
So it matches over here, but it doesn't, it's not really saying.
Sure, that's just the director. I don't think that has anything to do with DPW, but it's July, it's fiscal year, so it's July to now.
Right, but she wouldn't have overtime because she's salary. Right,
Was that from before then?
that's the hard part. I don't know because there's no date, just as of. So it'd be just those top three, 702, 704, and 706.
706. On here, so I'll ask him, but on our chart, it goes to 702, 704 to 709. So I'll make sure tomorrow morning I find out from Kim what that is for and when it's for.
Because also, you're not taking, we didn't do health insurance for you, right? And there's a health insurance, well, I'm sorry, there's a pension amount and a hospital insurance amount and a life insurance amount. So I'm guessing workman's comp, I'm guessing that is part of the labor for snow plowing, looking at all those numbers. So if she can customize it, I mean, it would be nice for her to put, yeah, code that as DPW, just so we know the difference between them and you.
Yeah, because none of those numbers are on my chart accounts, which would mean that it is not. It has to be village.
That would be my thought, because you're not taking any kind of benefits, so, or overtime. You wouldn't have, even when you're part-time, you wouldn't have hit overtime. So my 2 cents if we get clarification on that.
Yep, definitely.
Any other questions before somebody makes do we need to approve this? Or actually, I'm sorry, yeah, this is now the new expenditure report, yes. So if somebody wants to do a conditional approval with clarification on those items.
Clarification on 706 to 725.
Second.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Thank you.
I can get you guys those answers tomorrow too, as soon as I talk to Kim.
Thank you. March balance sheet. Any questions? This one's a lot shorter. Not a lot of line items.
To approve.
All right, need a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Thank you. All right, let's move to the director's report.
So RCI has our light pole on order. As soon as it comes in, they will install it. I don't have an ETA on when that is yet. She said as soon as she gets a shipping, she'll send it to me and they will get it up as soon as it comes in. You saw the Cruise and Media magazine bill for the ad. We talked about most of this at Heritage Festival meeting in the Heritage Festival section. I've been working from the Historical Society most of the week because it's being painted. And there is a part inside that Jim Wade has requested be painted from when they replaced the window. The paint got all chipped and pieces of the caulk fell out. But I said I needed to see the bill or quote or whatever before he made any decisions, and the painter isn't going to, he's focused on the outside until Friday when it rains, and then he said he'll come in and give us an estimate. So what else? Finance committee is going to meet to talk about benches and tables in the pocket park. I got the new price list from that precast concrete company. So we're gonna look at that. A lot of this is on our agenda. I did as Sam mentioned, I was on the RAP 2.0 webinar yesterday, which is revitalization and placemaking. Our section is available for $9 million. It's a 1-to-1 matching grant though. It seems this time, as Sam was kind of saying, focused on regional and sub-grants. So working with the LDC would be amazing. They're looking at more high dollar. I think 1 million is the minimum for their grants, and then so if we could do a regional and then sub grants, that would be ideal because we don't have $1 million to 1-to-1 match. But it was very interesting. A lot of ideas as they were talking about things we could do with Behind Maria's, parking lots are even included. It's really open. Even a developer can apply on their own. It doesn't have to be a municipality. Nonprofits can apply. So, what else? I've been talking to Nina at Maria's about the possibility of us leasing her back lot so that we can make improvements on it. She owns all of the grass back there. So from Mill Street to the law office, that's all her property. She would be open to some kind of arrangement, and I think it would be perfect for outdoor seating. It would also be great for a social district area, which could be coming soon. And it would be ideal to have in place before Heritage Festival. So we're going to have to get with our attorney and get something written up, but she is willing to do whatever we need, and she's just excited. And on that note, I didn't put that in here, but David Trent and I went to Creekside to talk about gas fireplaces, which I know is his vision to have in Pocket Park. But if we can make behind Maria's an outdoor patio, that might be the perfect place for some kind of fire pit that he could use his grant for. So we went there and looked at some options, and they were going to get us quotes next week when they got back from a conference. I think that's really it. Everything else is in our agenda. Any questions? Let me know.
All right, on to new business from the Finance Committee. Clock painting, can we get an update to that?
I do it this way.
So the same guy who's doing the Historical Society gave us a quote to repaint the clock and also the archway in the Pocket Park, Fountain Park. And that is provided in here. Well, you can read it. It includes all paint, labor, materials, and he was hoping to start it after he finishes the Historical Society.
I'm assuming the paint that he's using is what they need for, yeah, okay. He's familiar with painting clocks?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah. He said he would give us a quote for the benches too. He has not. I asked him this morning if he had it, and he said he did not do it because he wasn't sure if we wanted to refinish them as well as paint them. So I just asked for a quote for both, refinish the wood and paint, and he said he could get that before he finishes with the Historical Society. So that's all I got. The clock needs to be painted. I don't know if anyone has taken a close look at it, but it's looking pretty rough.
And between that and those, whatever, those accents in the Pocket Park, that would tie in all the color together to the lights, so,
And trash cans, because the trash cans will be black too.
yes. So if nobody has any further questions for the Finance Committee, we'll need a motion. That one, yeah, I think you can, because that's not a treasurer thing. Even though you're on the Finance Committee, we can't hamper business, so yes, you can make the motion.
I would make a motion to approve the clock and arch painting by, is that JMJ Painting?
Support. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, paint the clock and the archway. All right, Finance Committee, you're up again. Old garbage cans.
Actually just me, because Paul Bowman came to talk to me with Janaea Smith and Rob McKinney week or so ago. They were meeting with the township, their president and vice president of AYBA, Almont Youth Baseball. They were looking to order trash cans. I don't know how many are familiar with the youth fields, but they're just those big plastic barrels right now. So they were trying to figure out if the township would contribute towards the purchase of new trash cans. And Paul wanted to see first if there was a way to get in on like our shipping. But I said that there might be the possibility, as long as the board was okay with donating our trash cans to them. DPW can take them to auction. However, we will have to pay for them to move them. We'll have to pay equipment. We'll have to pay DPW wages. They're falling apart. AYBA is going to sandblast, repaint, get new lids for them. But
So we just need a donation, correct? The okay to donate it. There was, going back to that whole, we had to categorize stuff for the, I don't remember what it was called, for how we had to send things out to bid or the scrap or whatever. Does that matter for this, or can we just turn around and donate these? Okay.
And it sounds like, certainly like the right thing to do. That ball field is used every single day.
I mean, I guess we're donating them to the township fields, not AYBA, because they're going to be used. I mean, the schools use, JV fields use them, youth football uses it, so it's
Going to the township.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it definitely benefits the community. So.
Let's make that motion. Krista made the motion. I don't know if you heard Steve supported. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Give them some trash cans. All right, going on to the events committee, board workshop.
So last meeting, we briefly discussed setting a date and a time for a board workshop to watch the affected board member webinar together. We need to set a date for that and a budget approval if we're gonna order pizza or whatever, I guess. So I don't know what everyone, even if we just give like parameters, like a day in the month of May, we're gonna do it. I would like to get something. I know everyone's schedule is super busy though, so
You looking evening during the day? It just depends.
Schedule
those
is
days are not great for me.
fairly
If there's
open.
board meetings,
so.
school board meetings, but other than that, I'm pretty open.
It's the best way to send out just a few dates to everybody. Do you want something tonight?
We don't have to do something tonight, but if everyone can send me a couple of days, that would work well, or just times and days, and I can kind of try to find a common denominator.
How large of a time block are we looking for?
I don't think it's more than an hour and a half. I actually think it's only 60 minutes. But if we're gonna pause it for discussion, yeah.
I can tell you, looking at mine between soccer, band, and 4-H, I could do like the 9th if it's after work, or the 18th if you want to write that down. Sorry. If it's May.
It's Thursday, the 18th. I could be after 6. I could be available.
Say the 18th works great for me. If
It's for me.
it works for you. 6 or 6 o'clock good? Do you want to do 6:30?
6:30, yes, please.
Does that by chance work for everybody else? Good? No?
Softball game. I have a park board meeting that night.
Oh.
All right.
All right, how about, I have that written down, 9th is the other day that works well for you. All right,
I potentially could
on the
do,
9th.
yeah, and I potentially do the 15th. Let me just make sure I have nothing at work. That's just my personal calendar.
yeah, that's,
I can do the 9th.
Yeah, that's fine. 9th works.
9th is good?
Oh,
Look at
hey.
us.
Look at that.
All right,
6:30 was that the time?
I think 6:30 was only for the 18th,
Oh.
but we can
That-
do
yeah,
6:30.
doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Is that okay with everybody?
What time?
May 9th at 6:30.
6:30.
Right.
Good job, guys.
We don't need an approval on that. We just got to do it, right?
No, we're good.
Perfect. Moving on to class of 2023 banners.
Andrea Cruz reached out to me. She would like to hang class of 2023 banners. I told her I would bring it to the board tonight and get her dimensions tomorrow if it's approved.
I think it's awesome, and I love when other towns do that. Do we have enough places to hang banners for them? How are they gonna?
I think they do. So what they did before was they had 2 on each side. So they had did they have 4 on each banner?
Yeah. They had 4 in each, so they will be going.
So I think we would
Yeah.
have
Okay,
enough.
good.
Yeah.
But
That was my only thought.
as long as
I
we're
love it.
good with it, I will hash everything out with her
Yeah,
tomorrow
no,
morning.
I think it's great. I think that's awesome.
And just my 2 cents as a community thing, maybe whoever makes the motion, make it perpetual going forward. So that way every year it's just a common thing. That way we don't have what happened last year. So there's some miscommunication last year. It wasn't that we didn't want them up there. We were getting new poles. We didn't know the size, timing. It had nothing to do with wanting them. We wanted them there. But I think if we say perpetual going forward, that'll keep. And then we don't have to ask every May or March or whatever month. Right.
I'll make that motion, and included in that motion is that it be perpetual.
Sport.
Do we have a date of range of how long they're up there for?
In the past, they would go up. I think it was about middle of May through middle of June, I believe, for about a month.
Graduation
down
date.
by-
Yeah.
Do we know the graduation date?
Graduation is June 4th.
So generally a few weeks before, a few weeks after, right around 1st of May.
Middle May
depending.
to middle June?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Everybody, we already voted, right? Or no?
No, who was second?
Me.
Okay. So any further discussion? Yes. Anything else? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right. Thank you. On to old business. Earth Day report. And before we get to the report, I just want to say how successful that event was. I've heard so much feedback from the community. I just talked to some people tonight before I got here, just raving about how it was. We even got, I think Bucelli's put a post up. Jill Anderson, right? Said how great everything was. I mean, the feedback was tremendous. The people that were volunteering, I thought, were just great. I mean, we had kids sticking around till well past they should have been there helping. The amount of stuff we pulled out was astounding. So thanks for everybody's help that was there. Thanks for Angela to organize it. So that was great.
I thought it ran really well, Angela. Good job.
We came up with ideas for next year, which is always productive too. And I think I had 5 or 6 seniors text me later in the afternoon that they their mom told them that it got moved to Sunday because AYBA cleanup was supposed to be Saturday too, and they had posts everywhere that it was moved to Sunday. So I had them text me, say like, you know, we thought it was moved. Can you give me the contact information for AYBA so we can volunteer there? So hopefully they got to use them. But yeah, it went well. The rain held off. We got a lot done, and it was a good time. We had everyone was excited to be there. It was just a fun day.
I noticed today at business where we cleared out junk behind the business was putting mulch down over the last couple of days since we cleaned up the mess. So that was nice.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And Dollar General got weeded.
Hooray.
And there was 37 we counted, but I think there was more
People were
there.
coming.
Right.
Well, we had a few groups come late saying that they thought it was canceled, and then and I don't know who was at the park because when we were downtown, so it was awesome.
And the feedback the feedback on the food and the water bottles was also very good. Everybody it was a nice thank you. And the nice part, everybody kind of stuck around and chatted and got to know each other. And I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty
the
nice.
kids hung out for a long time, which was fun I'm sure they're just trying to get their volunteer hours in, but
Right.
I appreciated it. Yeah, it was a good time. I put the task accomplished. We swept sidewalks, we did flower beds. They did work on the alley behind Speedway. I wish I would have taken before and after pictures. Next year we'll do that. Yeah, and then we removed all the staples from the park
Yeah.
tables.
Side note, is DPW going out to trim that tree this week?
Yeah.
Hopefully? Okay.
I texted Brian a
noticed
list
today it
of
was-
that and then the other things that they need to pick
Good.
up.
Cool.
So
Just want to make sure.
Did we put everything in the right trash can? I hope.
I didn't ask and I was not reprimanded. So I think
Remember.
we did.
Bernie said so.
Right? I heard it.
Did you find out who takes care of the wires hanging down?
But Brian says DPW does not, but he can try to find who to contact.
All right. Thank you. That was just more informational. So next on the agenda, banner agreement received. If you guys recall basically we met back in February. We did not have a banner agreement with Yard Services on file. We'll look back in our records. It was not there. Myself and Angela met with Jerry and John in the end of September, beginning of October, where they signed the snowplow agreement with that all or nothing deal, but we did not have this on file. So at the time frame, Tracy was at the meeting. She said she had a copy of it. We asked for it. Was not presented by the March meeting. March 20th, it rolled around. That was, the first of spring. So we made the decision to have DPW put up the banners on April the 5th. So if there's any questions to that, or last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we did ask for the contract, but again, we did not get it until what date? April.
I believe April 6th.
6. So the question is we had DPW put that up. Does anybody feel we still have an agreement, or are we just moving forward with DPW? That's how we discussed it back in February.
Written contract.
Written
It has now been presented.
It's been now presented, right? Written agreement, not a contract, that we just got in April for 2023. We approved it. We approved it back in August of 2022.
Are the distinction between agreement and contract?
I don't see a term of when, if this is for a year, that's what the only thing that I noticed. So it just says that they'll put up the banners, but there's no time to when the contract ends.
Yeah, we talked to our attorney and he brought up the same issues. There's no start date, there's no end date. We commented about the time frame of everything that went back and forth, and he basically said just move forward with what you're doing with the DPW. It does.
The former board was here, was in the office, I don't know what happened to the original contract, because I had a copy. I shouldn't have to provide you with my copy, it should have been in the office.
We didn't have it on.
I don't see a problem.
That was at the February meeting. You came to the March meeting. There was nothing by the March meeting, and we got it after we put the banners up. So again, we ran all this by our attorney, and well, and we're going to check and verify on the 8 inches. So we checked on this with the steps of everything in place with our attorney, and he said for us to move forward. That was his suggestion. But if people want to change that thought process, we can. So, but if that's the case, if we have a signed contract that you started on January 1st, you know, spring was March 20th. So at that time, she was waiting for a contract. We agreed when you were here that you would supply us a contract. At this,
I guess my take on it, personally, legal, just, Tracy, just, you have to let the board members talk. Things fell between the cracks. So DPW picked up in March. Obviously, the counter that, well, you should have had agreement contract in your records. Okay, well, it wasn't, and we asked for it and it wasn't presented until April 6th. So what DPW did in March, well, that's what happened. But the other part of it would seem to me to be if there's a signed agreement for 2023, that should be honored. I mean, if it indicates 2023 and it was signed, then why wouldn't it be, from a legal standpoint, why wouldn't that be honored?
with what we ran by the attorney, he said because of the timing and everything that was involved, he said we do not need to honor it. And we did also send out notice that we were going to move forward. You sent that out, correct? Yeah. And she also verified it with Kim Kiesler as well, per the timing on everything that was there. I mean, again, the board can go with another direction. It's just, I'm relaying the steps of what occurred and time frame that was there. So.
Well, it's a mess. My general philosophy is keep your word. So we did give our word, and so with what happened, we're saying, well, we don't have to keep our word.
Well, do you think timing was good if we brought it up in February, if we didn't get it for another month and a half when somebody already presented themselves at another DDA meeting? I think 30 days would have been reasonable, no? And that was his take on it as
Should
well.
have been provided before April 6th. I agree with that. Yeah.
And
So.
I should receive my tax on a timely basis too. So, I mean, one thing's good, one thing's bad, whatever. I've done arguing about it.
What's at the board's discretion?
Okay. Board satisfied with it. It rankles me a bit, but obviously a whole bunch fell through the cracks here. So, okay. All right.
So
I think we're done with the issue. Proceeding with DPW then, right?
do we need a motion on that then?
Seemed to me, yeah. if we're having DPW provide services.
So if somebody wants to make that motion,
I'll make a motion to use DPW for the downtown banners and flags for 2023.
second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? All right. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 against. Steve was against. All right. That's majority. That passes. All right. All right. On to the next agenda item. Oh, we have nothing.
No, didn't we add something about these
Oh,
flagpole
Oh.
adapters?
Yeah, the flag brackets. You need 16 of them. They're $41.70. I want to verify with Brian that those are the correct ones, but that's what I could find.
This is to put not the seasonal flags, but American flags on poles. Need a motion to order.
Yes.
Make a motion to order the flagpole adapters pending Brian's approval that they are correct for sure.
Support.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Order the brackets. All right. Public comment, non-agenda item. Board questions or comments? Anybody have anything?
Is in previous years, when we had an event like Earth Day, the cleanup, most typically no DDA board members showed up at all. And my understanding is that everybody showed up except this old guy here.
Well, Steve, we didn't want to point that one out.
Yeah, I could see that. The old ones only have so much energy. And I had a trial coming up on Monday and a trial coming up on Tuesday. I had to prepare for over the weekend. But terrific job, Angela. And applause to all of you that showed up and the rest of the community. That shows a real plus, and the whole community feeling that seems to be growing and growing more and more. And I think that Angela and this board are contributing to that. So real positive. Very good thing.
I will second that. Congratulations on your first successful event,
It was
Astra.
fun. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate everyone coming and working as hard as they did.
Comments? No? I'll make one. It's, again, going back to Angela, and actually Angela and the rest of the school board. I want to thank you all for everything you do. It is not an easy job. As important as we take our taxpayer dollars, our kids are that much more important. So if you haven't been following what's been going on at the school, it's been very, very contentious. It can be scary for some, but to you and your fellow board members, I publicly want to say thank you for everything that you've been doing and going through. It is not easy. As a wife who's an educator who deals with this issue daily, more so than here, again, thank you. That's mine.
Same sentiment. I've been made aware of some of what's going on, and unfortunately, it is a blank storm. It's terrible. And so you have the community out there hooting and hollering, not knowing what they're talking about. And of course, that's part of the reason it is a blank storm, because nobody really knows what's going on, other than people are upset. And why not yell at Angela?
Right.
Seriously. But unfortunately, that's the kind of climate that we're living in these days. People are divisive and being contentious, I think, understates it, sadly. So we just have hang on. I told Angela we've got her back, and she managed to get through that nasty meeting.
I think everyone, I will say it was contentious. Everyone came in angry, but I think the vast majority left it better than they came. And I, had a million phone calls the next day from almost every angry parent, thanking me and feeling better. So that's best outcome we could have hoped for.
But in terms of running a meeting, you gave the people a chance to speak, which is what you should do. And so, but yeah, you were put in a very difficult position. And of course, according to, I guess you follow Robert's rules, you're not required to respond, but you get pushed far enough, it's like, wait a minute, and you feel you have to respond to some extent. But yeah, it's a very difficult thing, and I don't know when or if we're going to find out what's really going on. What is this undercurrent? And to parents are aware of the undercurrents going on. It's like, what is it? And my understanding is it's primarily the middle school where the problem is arising, where you have children. They're in middle school. There's kids who are having to deal with potentially adult issues, sex, having to go doing school shooter, preparing for those potentials, and in the social media and all the things that are being thrown at them, and not really mature enough to be able to deal with those issues. So and they're all upset, and it's not pinned down. It's a very unfortunate situation, and then you have structures in place. We have to maintain confidentiality, so you can't tell people what's really going on, but something's going on. What? So
Well,
it's purely speculation. There's something really going on.
right.
It's
And I'll
very
just throw
sick.
this out there because I hear it on a daily basis. What the public doesn't understand is what the public doesn't understand. And between the federal laws, the state laws, the education laws, the privacy laws, the laws protecting kids with IEPs, the police, just having the police involved. I mean, there's so many different agencies. You got to dot every I, cross every T, and people might never get the answer, and that's going to be the way it is. So the biggest thing I can tell people, if you see the educators still sending their kids to school and the school board sending your kids to school, be confident that things are going to be okay. If they're not, you might want to think. But if they're confident in sending their own kids, then you should have a little solace to know that things are probably getting handled behind the scenes, even though they can't tell you about it. So
Yeah, and another part of this is under consideration is the push for an additional school resource officer, should there be one right at middle school. That when you have one SRO for 3 different buildings, you can't be in all 3 at once, so what the heck? It's a nice way to put it. And we were lobbied to pass the law enforcement millage, saying this is so you can get another school resource officer. And that didn't happen. And members of council have brought this up, that yeah, we should seriously be considering that. And CalMAR's against that. Appeared at a council meeting for about a half an hour. Oh, well, we have a school safety plan, blah, blah, blah. And their chief is not supportive of it. And Mandy's not supportive of it. But that was all before this. And the council happens to be sitting on money that's supposed to be going to the school And we are looking at, before we turn the money over to you, shouldn't there be specific conditions what you're going to use it for? And it's just sitting there, and it's kind of grinding under the surface, but what the hell?
Well.
Yeah, so we're going to be giving it very serious thought where we're going to go from here with that.
Well, to give the council and those who are in charge of that context, right? My wife's school is at least 2,500 kids, which is the whole Almont student populace. And they have 4 to 5 resource officers at a time there, if that gives you any idea.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but there they have issues on a weekly, daily basis. It's a different story.
I've
but,
heard
yeah.
comments from, well, if we do it, we get another SRO, and there's before this dust up. Just what? Sitting there playing solitaire or something, wouldn't have anything to do.
Trust me, they'll have stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we're giving it very serious consideration. So we'll see. I'm glad you brought that up, though, Indy. It's a really important issue that our community's having to deal with. And Angela's.
Anyway,
Hey,
thank you. Pass
she-
that information
she
along.
got through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I told her the other day, do you only do meetings, board meetings that involve pitchforks or what? So.
Yeah.
Everyone was scared and I understood and we all got through it together. So I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. It's good.
All right. Unless there's anything else, I'll take a motion to end the meeting at
You can just call
8:57.
it if you.
I'll just call it 8:57. We're done. Everybody have a nice evening. Thanks for their time.